Just doesn't have enough people to do that. So I don't know why they're allowing this to go on, because their base is limited. Their caseload is off the charts.
Yeah, it's not a good idea in my opinion, but you know, they think they can do it better, and if they can, great. If not, it's only going to affect obviously the children and the families. So
yeah, I know the kids get affected.
Yeah. And then you got to think too, that's, you know, we're losing a whole division. So that's, I think there was a total of 100 employees there. So we really don't know what we're going to do with them. To include 7 certified members. Well, actually 6, because I was one of them. So
they're going to reassign you guys.
Yeah, well, they reassigned me because it was just pointless for me being there. So there's going to be about 4 people, I'm sorry, that they're going to have to find spots for them sometime in the summer, because I guess DCF gave a timeline of full transition between August and September.
Yeah, but their fiscal period usually starts in July, so they got to know what funds they're going to need and how they're going to reassign personnel. This should be interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's weird because some governments go July 1 to June 30th. Some go October 1 to September 30th, and then some go from January to December. So it just depends on what structure they use.
Right. Oh boy.
Yeah, we shall see.
Well, you know, you're never going to hear the real story. You know, that's one of the things that annoys the hell out of me.
That's the typical.
It's political
ongoing, even with the media. So.
Yep. Oh, I know. Believe me, I've been told at certain meetings by my boss that I gotta button up.
I mean, I've been on certain cases, and then I watched the media report it, and it's nowhere close to what actually happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they phrased it the way it's convenient for them for better news attractions. I know. Yeah.
Good morning. This is Denise with Matt. I just wanted to let you guys know I was on the line.
Thanks, Denise.
Welcome.
I'm going to apologize for that little chiming sound because I am at work. So, and I can't log off the CAD like I used to. So you'll probably hear that from time to time. Well, might as well just get started then. So Melissa, welcome everyone to our March virtual meeting, and if Melissa, you want to go through the list for introductions.
Yep, sure will. So everybody, I am Melissa Shepard with JMT, a consultant to District 7. So we'll go down the list. We'll start with Denise.
Good morning. It's Denise McAllister with MAD.
Thank you. Arian Martins.
Good morning. I'm Ariane from Pinellas.
Thank you. Brenton.
Brenton Mosier from USF Qatar.
Thank you. Brian.
Brian Pissarro, City of St. Petersburg.
Thank you. Joe Camara.
Joe Camaro with Pinellas County Schools, Transportation.
Thank you. Ms. Cash.
Ada Cash with Florida Department of Transportation.
Thank you. Mr. Kobika.
Hey, this is Larry with Pinellas Park.
Thank you. Corporal Ball. All right, well, he is on the line. Deputy Pierce.
Deputy Scott Pierce, Pinellas County Sheriff's Department.
Thank you. Doug.
Doug Hanson, retired transportation planner in St. Petersburg.
Thank you. Elizabeth Graham. Okay, well, she is on the line. Shayna Finkel.
Good morning, Shayna, Program Assistant for Florida Teen Safe Driving Coalition.
Thank you. Julie Bond.
Julie Bond with Cutter at USF. I'll be leaving at about 10:30, but Brenton is here to report for us.
Awesome, thank you. Kathy.
Kathy Gadamer from the City of Dunedin.
Thank you. Mashi.
Good morning, Mashi Dorsey, American Quality Consultants, FDOT Safety Ambassador.
Thank you. Janice.
Good morning, everyone. Janice Martinez, Law Enforcement Liaison for DOT District 7.
Thank you. Mr. Daniel Nagersmith.
Sergeant Nagersmith with the City of Clearwater, PD.
Thank you, sir. Lori.
Lori Palayo, JMT.
Thank you. Mr. Deputy Loring.
Yeah, Deputy Blaine Loring, Pinellas County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you. Ms. Joan Rice.
Good morning, Joan Rice, Pinellas County Transportation.
Sorry if I don't pronounce this correctly. Is it John Ryman?
Yeah, good morning. John Reedman, Pinellas County Transportation.
Thank you. Sergeant Klopper?
Sergeant Klepfer, yep, Pinellas Park.
Thank you. Sorry about that. All right, Mark Easty.
Sergeant Mark Easty, Pinellas County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you. Miss Terry Nagel.
Good morning, Lieutenant Terry Nagel with St. Petersburg Police Department.
Thank you. Vincent Petty.
Good morning. Vin Petty, I'm the Florida Traffic Safety Resource Prosecutor.
Thank you. Robert Wallace. All right, well, he is on the call. He's with DOT District 7. And then we have Autumn Westerman. Okay, I think she's having mic problems. It says that she is with Pinellas County Schools Transportation. Robert Wallace says, hi, no microphone. He is with DOT. And then Elizabeth Graham says, good morning. I do not have audio from this computer. She's Liz Graham, PIO, Palm Harbor Fire, and chair of the Safe Kids Bike Pedestrian Committee. So thank you, everybody. And if I have not called your name and you are on the line, please feel free to announce yourself. Okay, just to let everybody know this meeting is being recorded. And if you are not speaking, please mute your mics. All right, thanks.
All right. We're going to do something a little bit different because we do have Vin Petty on the line, and he's going to be heading to Orlando here shortly, and he's going to have to fight traffic on I-4 like I will later on. So I'm going to have him go first with his presentation. We'll get him out of the way. Vin?
Thank you very much. Let me get my PowerPoint up here, give you guys an idea of what I do for the TSRP program, and give you an idea of what we have been doing so far this fiscal year. Let's see. Window open for my PowerPoint. All right, is my stuff up? Looks like it. All right, give you guys an idea of what I do. I am the Florida Traffic Safety Resource Prosecutor. That is a grant-funded position through DOT and NHTSA, and my sole job is to travel around the state and provide training information to prosecutors and law enforcement. I attend various meetings on behalf of prosecutors around the state. I represent prosecutors at our law enforcement trainings. So my sole job is to act as a resource, providing education and training to law enforcement and prosecutors all over the state. As Mark said, once I'm done here, I'm headed up to Orlando to attend the Florida Impaired Driving Coalition, where I sit as our prosecution representative. So the money comes, like most of our highway safety grants, through NHTSA, through FDOT. My position is run through Tallahassee Community College and the Florida Public Safety Institute up there for training purposes. I get up there maybe once a month for paperwork, but primarily I reside here in the Tampa Bay area, which allows me to get anywhere within the state to provide training to our agencies in basically 4 hours, with the exception of the Panhandle and the Keys. But with the state vehicle, I can get around and provide training to any law enforcement agency, any prosecutor that needs it. I host various training seminars, and I try and get prosecutors and law enforcement together in pretty much every one of the trainings when I hold those trainings. We've got various sessions that are prosecutor only, and then some that are prosecutor and law enforcement. I do a basic week-long seminar 2 times a year, generally coinciding with when the Florida bar exam passage rates come out, so we can get the new prosecutors trained. I do an advanced DUI seminar for 2 days. That's always in June, where I bring our prosecutors and law enforcement together to discuss some advanced issues like implied consent, case law updates, things like that. Prosecuting the drug driver, we always hold in April. No coincidence, but we do always set that to usually start on 4/20 for our Prosecuting the Drug Driver seminar. It is a 2-day seminar. This year it begins 4/20 and 4/21. And it will be available to prosecutors and law enforcement. Flying Dr. Carl Siddick in, very excited, bringing him from Oregon to discuss HGN and the science and medicine behind HGN in the eyes and impairment. And we do a DUI manslaughter seminar every January. This year it was the last week of January, and we had almost 90 people in that training, prosecutors and law enforcement. Go around the state, I provide in-house training upon request to any agency that wants it, basic case law training, basic implied consent training, and breath test admissibility to any prosecutor and law enforcement agency that requests it. And then I got a bunch of law enforcement specific training because I recognize it is difficult sometimes for our law enforcement officers to get out of the office with their schedule to the various trainings that IPTM holds across the state under the grants. So I'll go out to various agencies and provide in-house training. I've got a basic DUI trial prep course that's an 8-hour full-day course. And then I can go specifically out to agencies. The 8-hour course I try and do regionally. We stopped it based on COVID, but this year I've started back up, trying to get to one different region each month. Or I go directly out to the agencies themselves and do basic training, SFST training, Florida implied consent, things of that nature. So I get around the state quite a bit. This month, I think last month, since we just started a month, last month, I think I put almost 2,000 miles on the state car driving around the state providing trainings to various agencies. I don't have this year's numbers fully updated yet, but to give you an idea, last year, from October 1, 2021 through end of September of 2022, last fiscal year, total trainings done by my program, 110 separate trainings, that includes the virtual trainings, provided almost 318 hours of training to our law enforcement and prosecutors across the state, providing a total attendance at all of those at just over 6,000. We had total attendance 6,015 to include 4,237 law enforcement and 1,778 prosecutors. Now, the TSRP program prosecutor is in the title and varies how the program is run from state to state. My predecessor for years felt that this was only a prosecutor training job and he would only focus on prosecution. I completely understand that prosecutor is part of my title. However, I can teach all the new prosecutors how to do great cases, but if they're not given good cases by our law enforcement, there's very little to no chance of success. So I've expanded this program and turned it into about 50-50 prosecutor law enforcement. But as you can see, our law enforcement training totals are more than double our prosecutors currently, primarily because the current staffing crisis at our state attorney's offices around the state. We are currently vastly understaffed at basically every state attorney's office across the state. The Sixth Circuit, Pasco Pinellas, just recently had to drastically up their hiring salary range to compete with Hillsborough and Manatee, Sarasota, because people just don't want to work. Post-COVID, the prosecutors that would usually jump straight into government service, spend a couple of years gaining experience, and then moving out to the high-paying private world. We're finding prosecutors aren't doing that anymore. They're jumping straight from law school into the private firms that will pay them almost double what government entities do, and they're allowing them to work from home. Our prosecutors, it seems, just don't want to go into the office in court, which is causing a huge crunch. Our DUI cases are getting very backlogged, and until we get our prosecutor's salary up to that with other states, I think we're going to have some problems, and we're going to get even more of a case law backload right now. But I'm trying to get out there. I'm trying to train them. I mean, normally our basic DUI seminar fills at 50. This March, I only have 27 enrolled, simply because there are not prosecutors that are staffed enough to send new prosecutors to trainings. But we're going to keep our training numbers up there, even if I have to do more virtually, because COVID gave me a unique opportunity to allow us to do virtual trainings. In 2020, with the staffing and the fact nobody could travel, I started a bunch of webinar programs intending solely to last the period in which we were all stuck at home. Unfortunately, the program has proven so popular, I can't end it, and we are doing numerous webinars now. I have always been the coordinator of the National TSRP program's Traffic Tuesday webinar series, where we do one webinar every month on a traffic safety thing focused nationwide. But I started doing webinar Wednesdays in April of 2020, which allowed me to do one webinar every week, hosted on the NHTSA NAPC funded GoToWebinar account. NAPC is the National Association of Prosecutor Coordinators. They administer the NHTSA grants nationally for TSRP trainings and TSRP databases. They fund a GoToWebinar account, and that allows me to bring these trainings across the state and even expand nationwide. Usually start at 1 o'clock Eastern for anywhere from 90 minutes to 3 hours, depending on my my speaker. And I've basically got them every week, and I've been running them weekly. And I'm in the midst of a 5-month multidisciplinary drug driving series now, where I'm bringing in DREs for 1 week to discuss a drug category, and then the corresponding toxicologist to discuss the toxicology category, because I find our prosecutors and even our DREs don't necessarily know exactly what the prosecutors and the DREs can testify to, because toxicology drug categories is slightly different than what our law enforcement officers testify to. So this year, between January and June, I'm trying to go through multidisciplinary approach so that we as prosecutors know how to better utilize both our DREs and our toxicologists in unison. And that program has been extremely, extremely popular, where you averaging between 200 and 300 at live attendance each week on those presentations. So the webinars have really taken off. To give you an idea, in the 2021-2022 fiscal year, we had a grand total of 46 webinars. These are just the Florida webinars. I'm not counting the numbers for our National Traffic Tuesday. And a total attendance at just under 10,000. I had 9,959 attend our webinars. Live attendance was half that, 4,635. I record all the webinars so that our law enforcement officers who are working the night shift can watch them later, and so that our prosecutors that are stuck in court can. Total live law enforcement attendance was 3,179, and we had a total live prosecutor attendance of 1,456. Just to give you an idea of the recording attendance, we had 5,324 hits on the recorded sessions. So these are being extremely popular, and everybody seems to want to keep coming. I wanted to end the program, but the webinars are not going to be ending anytime soon due to extreme popularity. Hosted trainings, just to give you an idea of when I told you we do these trainings, we already did the manslaughter seminar, January 31st to February 1st of this year, and I had just under 90 attendees. The basic seminar is coming up here in 2 weeks. I'm going to have 27 prosecutors, brand new prosecutors straight out of law school. We're going to teach them the basics. Sergeant Eastie is going to teach them some field sobriety exercise. I'm bringing in speakers from the Sixth Circuit, from all over the state to present on basic trial practice, from the point of how do we review a case once we get it, all the way up to how do we get a jury to convict. The drug driver seminar is currently scheduled for April 20th to 21st. If any of my law enforcement officers on the line are interested, there are lots of seats available, and I'm really trying to fill my hotel block. So any law enforcement officers interested, please reach out and I can get you information to sign up. Advanced DUI will be announced in the near future. That's going to be in June, and another basic DUI seminar right after the bar exam in September. All of these sessions are being held at the Orlando Marriott Lake Mary, and all of these sessions are completely free of charge. The TSRP program covers hotel expenses for 2 nights for each of these, the drug driver, advanced, and the manslaughter seminar. And any law enforcement officer that wants to, all you do is you sign up, I give you a travel form to sign, and you come up and I give you a hotel room for 2 nights. And very popular training. Hopefully we can fill the upcoming ones. To give you an idea of law enforcement specific training, I said I've got back into my 8-hour regional training. We just held that in Pinellas on January 19th. I had 28 attendees there. 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, I was in Tallahassee, and I actually got almost 30 attendees. I had 3 show up that were not signed up. We had a very full class. Going to Pensacola in 2 weeks, Jacksonville in April. I've got Sarasota set up at the end of May. I'm currently working on coordinating June, July, and August. I'm thinking I may do Gainesville for June. We haven't been to that part of Florida in a while, and probably get an Orlando and a Daytona, and then some South Florida session in the near future. So I'm traveling all over the state trying to get as much law enforcement training as possible to complement our prosecutor training. I provide technical assistance. I respond to emails and phone calls anytime our prosecutors and our law enforcement need it. Help them review initial cases, help them review update policies, prepare for motions, and get them case law research whenever they need it. To give you an idea of how many technical requests I received, in 2021-2022, I had a grand total of 4,736 requests for technical assistance. 2,225 of those came from law enforcement. 2,511 came from prosecutors. So I'm available 24/7, 365, never really get to take any vacation. As the law enforcement officers I know on the line know, I respond to your questions, whether I'm on a plane, whether I'm on a cruise ship, whether I'm on vacation somewhere. This job never ends, and it keeps me extremely, extremely busy. 40-hour work week basically means nothing to me because I am always working, going over the state. I provide resources to our law enforcement officers, a website. We've got technical assistance and training. Anytime they need anything, I'm here and available. If anyone needs anything, ever needs anything from me, agencies want training, this is my contact information. And that pretty much gives you kind of an idea of what I do and my program. And if anyone has any questions, I'll turn things back over to you all.
I don't hear any. Well, thanks, Vin, and I'm sure I'll see you later. For the law enforcement folks, again, he is 100% correct when he has no time off. I called him when he was in Hawaii to answer a question, so he's always available. And take advantage of those courses because the registration's free and the hotel's free. So the only unfortunate thing is you lose that member for the 1 or 2 days that they got to be out there.
All right. Well, thank you all for having me. Enjoy the rest of your meeting, and I am off to Orlando.
Thank you, Vin.
Thanks.
All right. Next thing we'll do is we'll go with the approval for the February meeting minutes. Anyone want to approve it, and then someone want to second it?
I move approval.
Thank you, Doug. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All righty. So we will get into committee reports. We'll start with law enforcement. Lieutenant Nagley, still on the line?
Yeah, I'm here. We just began working an FDOT grant targeting speed and aggressive driving. So we completed our first month of that, and it was extremely successful. We've been pretty much hammering Gandy and Roosevelt because we've been obviously having a big problem with racing and excessive speeds up there. So we're doing that several times a week in addition to our our monthly traffic operations. Other than that, there's nothing really jumping out at me. We're continuing the HVE ops also, which go through May. But other than that, it's just business as usual. The street racers are an issue for us right now, so that's where we're concentrating our efforts.
Yep, we have the same issue. All right. Sergeant Nagersmith with CTST.
How's everybody today? Basically, we did a couple details this month. One with our narcotics unit where we did some drug interdiction and concentrated heavily in the areas of the Courtney Campbell and US 19, where we've seen a lot of our issues regarding those problems. We're also still working with the HVE. My team's been working a hit and run with somebody who basically had their head almost taken off because a driver took off after they hit him at a bus stop on Gulf to Bay. So my team's been tied up with that. So our enforcement's been kind of limited. We're also tasked this month with spring break. So we've been gearing our means towards that. I'm out on the Memorial and the Memorial Causeway Bridge and all that area there. Other than that, everything's been normal.
Thank you. Anyone with Pinellas Park? I know there's a couple of you on the line.
We have several details scheduled for this month. We have a DUI detail on the 17th. We're participating in the Wolf Pack, and we have a couple other daytime details as well. And then just prepping for a click it or ticket.
Alrighty, thank you, Larry. So for Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, last month, Tarpon Springs PD hosted the standardized field sobriety testing class and the advanced roadside impaired driving enforcement class, also referred to as SFST or A-RIDE. We had a bunch of students in both of those classes, so we got some law enforcement officers trained on the proper techniques and clues to look for impairment. Last week and finishing up today, we hosted the Drug Recognition Expert School or DRE School at the Sheriff's Office on Ulmerton Road. There are a total of 10 students in that class. Once they pass the final test today, I don't want to say final, it's one of final tests, they will move on to what's called their certification phase, where they have to complete 12 evaluations and some other administrative stuff that doesn't make them a certified DRE yet. I think next month is when they're going to schedule their final knowledge exam. And for those that may not know what that is, it's a pretty intensive exam. It can take anywhere from, I think the quickest has been 4.5 hours to 13 hours to complete the test. Once they complete that, then they will become certified DREs. So we will add 10 new DREs for the state of Florida, and of the 10, 4 of them will be for Pinellas County. Again, with Vin's weekly webinars, I highly recommend emailing him, getting put on the list, sign up for those courses. The best part is he records them, so if your schedule conflicts with whenever one is being presented, you will get an email 24 hours afterwards, and you can watch the recorded one. Again, there's about 5 a month. The webinar Wednesdays, every Wednesday, and then on Tuesday, sometime during the month, they have the national webinar. So I highly recommend those. We are also working our DUI and HVE grant as well. And we're still doing traffic enforcement for speed and aggressive drivers on US 19. And then today, again, once I get done with work, I got to shoot up to Orlando for the Florida Impaired Driving Coalition meeting with Vin and other members from around the state. In March 23rd, we're hosting a class called Middle. It's the marijuana impaired driving detection for law enforcement. It's a 8-hour class at the Sheriff's Office on Ulmerton. And then on the 24th, the following day, we're hosting advanced middle. So if any of you law enforcement folks need to put somebody in that class, that class focuses on marijuana impairment. We are conducting the multi-agency DUI Wolf Pack on March 25th. It's going to be a beach themed wolf pack, as we're going to have cops riding with a few of our members as well. March 27th through the 31st, we're hosting DUI instructor school at the sheriff's office, which will be taught by members locally. That is all I have for Pinellas. Is there anybody else on the line from enforcement that I missed? Nope.
Hey, Mark, I
Okay.
just, Janice here. I just put in the chat box upcoming St. Patrick's Day. There's some media items that are available through trafficsafetymarketing.gov. So if anybody wants it, it's all there free. Feel free to use it, steal it, share it, put your agency's logo on it, and push it on out.
Well, you were the next person I was going to. Do you have anything else?
So no, that's it. So St. Patrick's Day, we don't collect any data on St. Patrick's Day, but it's obviously a huge drinking holiday. So we encourage some DUI wolf packs or saturation patrols on that. We just ended our grant concept writing season. February 28th was the last day for concept papers to come in. So we're in the process now of seeing who all put in for what and getting some money out there effective October 1st.
Yeah, St. Patty's Day, unfortunately, Valspar, the PGA golf tournament, likes to host their golf tournament the same week as that. So I'm pretty sure our DUI unit will be out after the golf tournament to do a saturation patrol, considering that St. Patrick's Day is now on a Friday or falls on a Friday. So it's going to be even more of a drinking holiday as it was the past 4 years since it was during the week. And people still have to go to work the next day or stumble to work, unfortunately. So, alrighty. Denise with MAD, are you still on the line? Do you have anything?
I'm still on the line. We're kind of busy with spring break, which is a good thing. So I was able to get out to the driver's ed district meeting. I went to Palm Harbor, did presentations yesterday. We have Kevin Brooks. He's a national speaker. He actually has been in a wheelchair since he's 19. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. If anyone is interested in seeing him, he's going to be at Pinellas Park High School at 12:55 p.m. on the 28th of March, and he's going to be at Palm Harbor University at 9 a.m. on the 27th. So if anybody wants to go see that presentation, we also will have at Palm Harbor on the 27th, Lieutenant Ashley White. She's going to speak after him. She's a victim of impaired driving. You guys may be familiar with that, but she was actually hit while she was rendering assistance on duty. So she spoke last year, did a really good job. She'll be out there. We have our Walk Like Mad in Tampa that's coming up on May 31st. So if anyone is interested in attending, coming over, or getting a team together, we'll be out at Pinellas Park High School on the 10th for Law Day. I know some of you guys will also be out there. An event on USF that we're planning. It'll be a new event this year, first time impaired driving event. It's actually going to be this Monday. And I think that's it. We have the Ride Like Mad coming up in May, but I can give you guys more information on that probably next month. I know everybody's got a lot going on. And I think that's it. We'll be out, of course, for spring break, driver's ed events. There's actually one coming up in April. Shayna actually probably has more information on that. She's organizing all of that at East Bay High School, and we'll be out that way. Other than that, I think that's it. Pretty busy March and April with spring break, like everybody else.
Thank you, Denise. And since you brought up Shayna, if you're still on the line, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I do have a little bit to add. Hello, everyone. And yes, thank you, Denise, for talking a little bit about that. That saves me from having to talk a lot about it, so thank you. We also have one more in Pinellas for Kevin Brooks' presentation on Wednesday, March 29th, the 1 p.m. slot. He'll also be at East Lake High School. So definitely if anybody is in the area of one of those 3 schools and wants to go see it, it's a great presentation. And if you'd like me to send you more about that, I'll put my email in the chat when I'm done talking. We also have one more slot open, so if you know any schools in Pinellas that you think would benefit from having a presentation like this, we still have the afternoon of Monday, March 27th open. And then about that safety fair, that was the second thing I wanted to touch on. So we've got a safety fair going on at Eastlake High School, and I can send you all information for that if you're interested. And it's going to be following up on a mock crash happening at Eastlake. So after that, there will be the safety fair. If you're coming from an organization that I have not yet reached out to and you would like to be involved in that, again, I'll put my email in the chat, and please just let me know. And that'll be on April 21st from 9 to 10. So I'll put my email in the chat. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me and I will respond.
Thank you, Shayna. All right, Brenton with USF Cutter for Pet Bike.
Yes, so we have 2 events coming up next month for Bike Month. We have Ford Pinellas Bike Your City, which is next Friday, the 10th in Oldsmar. And then we have later in the month, we are still finalizing some details, but we are working with the city of Dunedin to do a Bike Month ride / trail education over at Skinner near the trail.
Thank you. Joe with schools.
Right now, we got spring break approaching March 13th. So the little ones will be out and about. Due to this other meeting we had yesterday with the CTST, we're going to be reevaluating a lot of our stops due to the pressures being put on by the civilians. And I already been contacted by the city of Clearwater to go out and evaluate some of the bus stops and report back to them. So that's why when I asked you guys to please participate in assisting us with stop arms and everything, I seriously mean it, because I don't know, the whole attitude is changing around here. That's about it.
Thank you, Joe. City of St. Pete, do you guys have anything for?
No updates today.
All right. Any other city that's on the line for engineering?
How about county?
You were next, Joan.
Okay, cool.
You go ahead.
As you probably have heard in the newspapers and also at that meeting that Joe was talking about yesterday, we did put up the RFBs at Bel Air Road, just to the west of the Duke Energy Trail. So those are in. Next up is some RFBs in the Palm Harbor area in Nebraska near 16th Street. So that'll be coming soon. And in the next couple of months, we're going to be reintroducing the trail courtesy campaign. So you'll see the same yard signs that were out a year and a half ago will be placed out there, and we'll also have some social media. So that's what we have going on.
Thank you, Joe. All right. Anyone else with engineering or education?
Yeah, Mark, this is Brenton again. I just had one other thing. We are currently doing a geofence campaign around Palm Harbor at the intersection of Florida and Alt 19 for the roundabout that's under construction. So we are trying to educate people about proper roundabout use. The response on social media has been less than enthusiastic, but we feel like once it's in place, they'll grow to love it.
Hopefully.
Hey, Mark.
All right. Go ahead.
Elizabeth Graham wrote in the chat, Saturday, March 25th, 11 to 2 is Foster Family Picnic at the Sheriff's Youth Ranch in Safety Harbor. They will be fitting 200 bike helmets, and she put her contact information in there.
Perfect. So if anyone's interested in attending or knows anyone that would like to attend, if you don't mind jotting down her email and phone number and get that information out to them.
Hey, Mark. Doug Hanson. One thing on bike and pedestrian, I'd been working over the past 7 months with David Durenzio from Pinellas County about the state of the trail west of 31st Street, south in St. Petersburg. It's really broken up with a lot of buckling and also some tree roots, and they're going to do a major project in there sometime in April in the vicinity of 31st Street South.
So they're in the process of getting it fixed, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they're in the process in April. They're gonna be setting up detours for the trail and things like that, so that they can get this portion of the trail back up to snuff.
Perfect. Thank you for working on that. I know we had somebody from EMS on the line. Do you guys have anything to add? Maybe? No? Sounded like a clock tick-tocking in the background. Alrighty. Well, that completes our committee reports. We will start with old business and hit our problem location, map, which I have up. So the first one's going to be US 19 between 298th and 297th. I know the last meeting, Sergeant Giles brought up that it's still an ongoing problem. And the good thing is that we part of working the speed and aggressive driving on US 19 is hitting that area as well. So we're just we'll leave that on there. We're just gonna continue to do enforcement. School zones between number 2 school zones between Tampa, 19th Street west of US 19. I know there have been some speedings in there and some high speeding. Loring, do you know, have you been over there at all?
Not over there so much, mostly just on 19.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably have you just go out there and just get a status a couple days a week, maybe just one, a couple days, and then we'll reconvene on this one back next month. Passing on the school buses, I know you already work on that, Deputy Loring and other folks and the other agencies as well, and obviously on Joe's comment, we will always be out there because, again, I know it firsthand. When I stop somebody for a stop arm violation, the first thing they say is, "I didn't even see it." And I don't know how you cannot miss that big yellow wagon with multiple lights and 4 stop signs and all this stuff coming out. People are more concentrated on other things than what they really need to be concentrated on. So we will keep that on there as well. Now the light at Tarpon, I talked to Officer Gasson with Tarpon Springs. It's still under construction, so that's probably going to stay on there until they get that construction complete. Next one's East Lake Road at Tarpon Woods. That's the delineators. For those that don't know this area, when you're heading northbound and you come up to Tarpon Woods, it goes from 3 lanes to 2 through lanes to continue north on McMullen Booth or East Lake Road. County Road 611, and 9 names that every road in Pinellas has. But at the light at Tarpon Woods, that right lane becomes a right turn only lane. And during rush hour, people like to jockey for position and shoot up past the cars and try to slide their way in. Well, they do it even past the point where they shouldn't be, where they have put delineators up, and they will blast the delineators to get into their lane, as opposed to just making the right, going around the gas station since they're committed to the lane. So we will keep that one up there as well and continue to do enforcement there. And I know we talked about this the last time with Joan, this RFB at Starkey. Is this something that's still in the design phase, or have they gone any further with it?
Okay, is there a way we can get rid of the RRFB comment? Because it's not going to be an RRFB, it's going to be a full signal at Willow.
Perfect. Yeah, Melissa,
Okay.
can you take care of that? Just put full signal.
Yeah, it's going to be a full signal, and it's in design right now. I can find out more about timing, but I don't know if we've got the month that it's going to start construction.
Is it going to be like one of those signals that's on 34th Street at 50th Ave, and then the same one on Park Boulevard where the flea market used to be? Is it going to be one of those?
Well, it's going to be a full signal because it's going to operate for that whole mobile home park that's on the east side of the road.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Melissa, if you could just change the wording on that from RRFB to full signal. All right.
We'll take care of that.
All right. Does anyone have any questions about the problem locations, or have a new location that may need to be thrown some attention to? All righty. So now we will move on to Masheed with the HSIP and SRTS reports.
Good morning. So overall, as always, we've been working on some material requests from cities and counties. If you have material requests, please send location maps with them and mark where you're planning to use those materials on the location map. That helps a lot. If you have any HSIP applications, please send it in an email format to me, and I will make sure that it goes through while they're working on the portals still. And as always, I can always help with any requests, anything on the applications or the Safe Routes to School applications. Again, I haven't seen any Safe Routes to School applications coming up. I don't know if anyone is working on any Safe Routes to School application. If you are, if you need any help, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Machine.
Yes.
All righty. Nobody's got any questions. We will move on to the high crash intersection, basically our fatal crash map. This may look new to some of the folks that have been at CTST. This is the second month of our fatal crashes. And so far we are at a total of 19 crashes with a total of 20 fatals. 12 being pedestrians. And I assume the one with the, in parentheses, C6, must have been the driver as well. 3 bicyclists, 1 motorcycle, and 3 vehicle crashes. Now, the only thing that's different on here that I notice is they don't have the prior years year to date at the point. Is there any way we can add that back to it? Because I'd like to see how we do from throughout the year, if we're ahead or if we're behind. No, Sandra's not here.
Hi, hello. It's Ariane. So, do you mean by previous years? Do you mean year 2021, 2020?
No,
those
so
years?
just the prior year. So kind of how you have it now, but just like underneath, like under where you have 19 crashes, fatal crashes, 20 fatalities, 1 double. Underneath that, they would put the same timeline, but the prior year. So like last year up to this point, we had so many fatal crashes, so many fatalities, and if there were any doubles or triples, unfortunately. So we can kind of gauge where we are. You understand what I'm saying, getting at?
Yeah, no, I do understand what you mean. Yes, yes, that is something that could be added.
Yes, perfect. Because then, and I'm not gonna jinx it, but it kind of gauges us where we're at, and I think we're doing okay, maybe from the year prior, hopefully. But it'll just kind of give us a gauge of how we're doing throughout the year from the previous year.
Okay, that sounds good.
Now I see a bunch. You have some stuff highlighted in yellow under the second page there. Is there something that you need from there, or you're just missing the DHS&V number?
Yes, the DHM, the reports are the main components that are missing, and that's the reason why they're not added into the map.
Okay.
Because they're not added into the data set. Also, I think I would give a little bit of a heads up that Signal 4 and TDMS are having a delay, so which means they'll have a 60-day delay. So that means that it will affect how the fatal reports are going to be reported in the future. So just a heads up, there will be a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, and then and I know the ones highlighted in yellow towards the end. Typically, with fatal crashes, it takes them a while to complete the crash report because they're still doing follow-up investigations, and a lot of them will sometimes wait on toxicology, which can take anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks to get back. So as long as there are no errors in the report like we've seen in the past, this is not uncommon. So I don't consider it a main issue. Anyone have any questions on the fatal crash map? Alrighty, we'll move on to the monthly Pinellas Trail usage report. So far, again, not a surprise. Dunedin leads the usage with about just over 46,000 people. I know prior to the meeting starting, I have had some employment changes quite frequently in the past week and a half. I was supposed to be out in the detective land, but now I'm back in patrol, and I am one of the daytime supervisors in Dunedin. So I can definitely vouch for the amount of people using the Dunedin Trail, as well as the causeway and other areas. Looks like Bay Pines area is a little bit behind them at 31,000, 27,000 for Seminole, and then Walsingham. And again, I know at our in-person meeting, they said that, you know, some of the stats can be construed because they've been having some issues with the counter. Do we know if that's been resolved yet, or if there's a timeline on that being resolved? All right. I don't think that person that was at the meeting is on the line, but.
Yes, Kyle, unfortunately is not on the line, but I'll get back. I'll ask him about that, and I'll get back to you guys with that information.
No worries. And you know, the one thing I do like to point out, if you go to the second page and you have the Pinellas Trail usage between 2017 and 22. In 2017, it was about 1.5 million, and it dropped down to about 1.2, and then 1.3, and then 2020 they went, you know, just over 2 million, and we all know why, because nobody, you know, was able to drive. Some people weren't able to work. So, but the good thing I want to note about this is that it didn't plummet in the following years to the same numbers. So, I mean, they're only a couple 100,000 off from 2021 and 2022. So it seems like more people are getting out after the pandemic and, you know, getting out and getting some exercise in and utilizing the Pinellas Trail. All right. Does anyone have any questions about the Pinellas Trail? All right, perfect. We'll move on to new business. Now, this would have been where Vin Petty would have gave his presentation, but again, he needed to get onto the road and fight I-4 traffic. I do have one new thing. So we have our June meeting scheduled for it'll be an in-person meeting at Largo PD. And a friend of mine who happens to be, he used to be an assistant state attorney with the Pinellas 6th Circuit, is now a state representative for District 59, which is Pinellas. His name is Bernie Jakes. He's going to be our special guest in June. So if you guys have any concerns, that is the man to talk to. So I'm kind of excited. I already reached out to him. He put it on his calendar, so my fingers are crossed that nothing comes up so that he's able to attend. I don't have any. I have one other thing, but I'm going to wait a second to see if anybody else has anything to bring up for the good of the meeting.
Mark, Doug Hanson, just one question. Maybe Robert Wall can answer this. Who is the contact person for the upcoming pavement project in St. Petersburg on US 19 between 22nd Avenue North all the way down to 54th Avenue South? Who's the contact from Florida DOT?
From what I know,
Hey, Doug,
this is, go ahead.
wrote in the chat, he will have to get that info. Give him a minute. Sorry, Mashid.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say the same since no one else talks. The project manager at construction at DOT.
Did you say we have a name or we're looking for it?
He's looking for the info.
Okay.
So while we wait for that, this is one thing that Doug brought up before, and I don't see an issue with it because as I sit on the Florida Impaired Driving Coalition, it lists out its members and their email address. I don't see a problem with putting that on our website as well. Does anyone see a problem with, you know, you being a member of here and then just having your name on as a member and your email address? And honestly, I don't know how many citizens really reach out to the website. But it is a good way if something comes up that, you know, at least for us that sit on these monthly, that have a question, that they can go to the website and get the email and contact that person easily. Does anybody have any gripe about that at all? Melissa, is that something you can do? And then send, because doesn't Mike have something to do with the website?
Yes, yes. I'll get with him to make sure this is good to go. And then if it is, I can put it in. Let's see if I can share this. So I'll see if I can put it in.
Yeah, I would do like maybe create like a member tab in the Pinellas tab. You can even put it somewhere towards the bottom. Now, the only other thing I would do, and I could try to do this, is I know that list that you print out that you bring to the meeting is like 4 pages long, and I've seen people's names on there that I haven't seen in years.
Yep.
So I don't know if, and I know on the minutes we have the people that attended, so I would say maybe I'll take care of that. What I'll do is I'll go back the previous 12 months and jot down all the people that have been there and send you their names, and then you could just plug in the name and then the email address.
Okay. Okay.
And can we also have the organizations so we know who they're with?
Yes. Yeah, because the FID does the same thing. So they have the person's name, who they're with, and then their email. So does that help, Doug?
That's great. Thank you.
And I'm still not seeing Robert come back with an answer yet.
But Brenton did.
Oh, yep, there it is. Yeah, he put in the website. So if you want to jot down that that web link, Doug, that should give you an answer.
Can you see that, Doug, on the screen?
Yeah, I'm jotting it down.
Okay. And it's in the chat too, so just in case. Okay, Robert Wallace said US 19 from 54 Avenue South to 22nd Avenue North is Robert Grimsley.
What is that again?
He said the project limits of US 19 from 54th Avenue South to 22nd Avenue North. The contact person is Robert Grimsley.
Oh, because it says Maddie Finkston on there.
Right. Maybe they've updated or something. I don't know.
So it's changed. Robert Grunsley.
He said, was that the project limit that I just read to you?
Yeah, 22nd Avenue North to 54th Avenue South.
Yeah.
So it's Robert Grunsley, not Maddie Finkston.
That's what I'm gathering. Yes. Robert Grimsley is the FDOT representative. Yes, that's what he's saying in the chat.
Do we have a contact for him?
So what I know to do, and I use this a lot. So if you go on myflorida.com, there is a 411 area, and you can look up anyone who works for the state in that website.
Okay, myflorida.com, and then what did you say?
Oh, wait. Ms. Cash put the information in. There you go. There you go, Doug, right there. Thank you, Ms. Cash.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on. Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. All right. Do you have anything else, Doug?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Does anybody else have anything before we end our virtual meeting for March? All righty. We will see you guys again virtually next month in April. Thank you guys for attending.
Bye, guys.
Thank you all.
See you later.
See you later. Be safe.